Welcome, bienvenidos, benvindo to the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show, a production of Soccermetrics and Soccer Down Here, the only English language podcast devoted to South America's premier club competition. I'm your host, Howard Hamilton, the founder of Soccermetrics. Matchday 2 of the 2024 Libertadores group stage is complete, and I'm here to tell you all about it. Here is how all 60 matches finished up. Starting in Group A, Fluminense 2, Colo-Colo 1, Cerro Porteño 1, Alianza Lima 0. In Group B, Sao Paulo 2, Cobresal 0. Barcelona 2, Talleres de Córdoba 2. Group C, Estudiantes de La Plata 2, the strongest 1. Gremio 0, Huachipato 2. In Group D, Junior 1, Universitario 1. Liga de Quito 1, Botafogo 0. In Group E, Flamengo 2, Palestino 0. Bolivar 3, Millonarios 2. Group F, Independiente del Valle 2, San Lorenzo 0. Palmeiras 3, Liverpool de Montevideo 1. Group G, Atlético Mineiro 2, Rosario Central 1. Peñarol 5, Caracas 0. And Group H, Libertad 3, Deportivo Táchira 0. River Plate 2, Nacional 0. So in summary, over the 16 matches, 44 goals were scored, 13 wins by the home team, 1 win by the away team, and 2 draws. That's the end of part 1. In part 2, the highlights of the second match day of the group stage. Part 2 of the Soccermetric Copa Libertadores show, a production of Soccermetrics and Soccer Down Here. Now, let's run through the highlights of each group. In Group A, Fluminense defeated Colo-Colo in a match in which they were better team in the most critical moments of the game. Marquinhos opened the scoring for Fluminense before Guillermo Paya equalized for El Cacique. The match featured the return of Germán Cano, and Cano made a significant contribution, scoring the winning goal. The match also featured the encounter between Arturo Vidal and Marcelo after years playing abroad in Europe. And they did mix it up in this encounter. And in fact, Vidal was cautioned early on in the match. Vidal would go on to be the most significant player, the most influential player for Colo-Colo, leading the team in expected assists. Cerro Porteño fought for a win at home to Alianza Lima, who were looking for a draw and almost achieved it. Cerro struggled to break down Alianza. In particular, Juan Iturbe was the most significant contributor in expected goals, but didn't score any actual goals. And it took until the last minute of stoppage time for Cerro Porteño to gain possession, recirculate the ball to the far side of the post, and Federico Carrizo latched onto a loose ball to score the winner with the last kick of the game. In Sao Paulo FC defeated Cobresal in a match that they dominated. In fact, Cobresal did not achieve any shots in the first half. Yet, despite dominating, Sao Paulo suffered throughout the match, and it took 2 goals in the last 10 minutes from Andre Silva and Jonathan Calleri to achieve a deserved win. In Guayaquil, Barcelona suffered a last-second draw to Talleres de Córdoba. Barcelona were on top for much of the match, but the scoreline The scoreline shifted from one team to the other. Petrashevsky, in particular, had some particularly large misses before Damian Diaz scored 2 goals, one via penalty. Ruben Bota was the most influential player for Talleres. And on the last kick of the game, when Barcelona were anticipating a hard-fought victory, Bustos made a free kick that found Juan Rodriguez in the penalty area to slot home the equalizing goal. A deserved result, a hard-fought result for Talleres in difficult conditions. Group C saw Estudiantes defeat the strongest 2-1. It was a deserved win for El Pincha, with significant contributions by Guido Carrillo and Santiago Ascasibar. The strongest saw Mark Enuma sent off in the 6th minute, but gained a foothold back into the match through a goal by Enrique Triverio to cut the margin to 2-1. However, Estudiantes would hold out for the victory and were the better team throughout. The surprise of the match week had to have been Huachapato's 2-0 victory over Gremio in Porto Alegre. Huachipato were dominant in the first half and were much more effective after goal scoring opportunities. Felipe Loyola scored the opener and scored the second goal, and the second goal was scored 6 minutes into the second half. Chris Martinez was the most influential player in the midfield for Huachipato. And the Steelers were a lot closer to the third goal than Gremio was to their first. So if you're keeping score at home, this is the second home defeat that a Brazilian team has achieved at home in the group stage of this Libertadores tournament. In Group D, Liga de Quito defeated Botafogo 1-0 in a match that they could have won by more and probably should have won by more. They had a goal disallowed by VAR. They were the better team for most of the match, but their quality declined as the match went on. Yet, one goal was more than enough against a Botafogo team that seemed surprisingly limp. I'm not sure that they have fully shaken off their collapse from the second half of last season. They do have a new manager, Artur Jorge, who joined from Braga last week. But he will have his work cut out for him, not only in the Libertadores tournament, but in the Brasileirão, which kicks off this weekend. Junior and Universitario tied 1-1 in Barranquilla, an even matchup that, to be honest, Universitario could have won late if their goal had not been disallowed by VAR. It's a point that will probably go down better for Universitario than Junior. In Group E, Bolivar continued to impress with an authoritative, dominant victory over Millonarios. Jose Sagredo and Bruno Savio scored, yet Yomar Rocha was sent off. Lionel Justiniano was the most influential player in the center of the field for Bolivar. Millonarios made it a lot more interesting than it should have been, especially after Santiago Giordano came on. Leo Castro scored a double. He generated 0.8 expected goals, but Delvin Alfonso was sent off late in the match. But Bolivar were able to hang on for a 3-2 victory that allows them to remain perfect in the group stage of the Libertadores. Flamengo defeated Palestino in a very deserved win in a match in which they were dominant in the first half. Pedro scored a fantastic goal midway through the period. Diego de la Cruz and de Arrasqueta were dominant in the midfield. And as a matter of fact, I think that Flamengo have perhaps the most dominant midfield of the teams in the Libertadores. I still have doubts about their their scoring ability. I think that the loss of Gabriel Barbosa will continue to be a challenge, but for the moment, they are able to deputize strikers who can fill the gap that Barbosa left. Palestina were the stronger team in the second half and almost tied it. Antonio Cesa and Nico Linares were the main players for Palestina. But the match was settled late on a free kick by defender Leo Ortiz to, to secure a 2-0 victory for Mengao, who have not lost at home in the Libertadores since April of 2019. Group F saw an initial shocker in Palmeiras' match against Liverpool de Montevideo. Liverpool opened the scoring 180 seconds in through Jean Rosso. Palmeiras achieved the equalizer in stoppage time of the first half and turned the match around through strong second half contributions by Jose Lopez and Esteval. Independiente del Valle achieved a well-deserved win against San Lorenzo. Junior Sornosa scored a penalty. Then Michael Hoyos scored the second after a goalmouth scramble. There were significant contributions by Christian Sabala and Rey Paez. Group G saw Atletico Mineiro defeat Rosario Central, in a match in which they dominated goal chances in the first half, particularly through Hulk, who assisted on the first goal to Gustavo Scarpa in the 39th minute. Rosario Central came out to play in the second half, and the action became more of an end-to-end encounter. Ignacio Malcorra scored the equalizer in the 74th minute. That awakened Atletico, who edged it out through the winner by Paulinho 3 minutes later. Peñarol were by far the most dominant side in the encounter with Caracas in Montevideo. They scored 5 goals fairly easily. I think the most significant indicator of how dominant Peñarol were in this match was if you look at the expected goal figures, Peñarol generated 8.3 expected goals compared to 0.3 by Caracas. 4 Peñarol players generated over 1.0 expected goals. Maxi Silveira achieved almost 2.0 expected goals and scored a hat trick. Leonardo Fernandez achieved 1.4 expected assists and achieved 1 assist. In Group H, River Plate sweated through another difficult match, but were rescued by their talent. Claudio Echeverri scored an early goal in the 15th minute. But Nacional had opportunities to equalize, in particular by Osinachi Iberri, who in the second half won his challenge against Leandro Gonzalez Perez and shot wide of Hermani's far post. Ezequiel Barco came on as a substitute midway through the second half, and he assisted on the second goal, scored by Facundo Colidio. So once again, Di Michelis will suffer criticism because of the play of his team. Yet River keep achieving wins despite not playing well. Finally, Libertad defeated Táchira in a very comfortable win for the home side. Lucas Sanabria scored in the 32nd minute. Lorenzo Melgarejo scored in the 39th minute. Libertad achieved an expected goals advantage of plus 2.5 over Táchira in yet another difficult match for a Venezuelan team in the Libertadores. And before I finish summarizing this match, we really do have to acknowledge the presence of Roque Santa Cruz, who is continuing to start matches and play professional football at age 42. And as a matter of fact, he almost scored a goal for Libertad in this match. So he's practically the Casimira of South American football. So that's a summary of the 16 matches that were played in the second match day of the Copa Libertadores group stage. Here's how the tables look after 2 matches. In Group A, Fluminense lead on 4 points. Colo-Colo are in second on 3 points, but they have scored 1 more goal than Cerro Porteño, who also have 3 points. Alianza Lima are 4th and last with 1 point. In Group B, Talleres de Córdoba lead the group on 4 points, followed by Sao Paulo with 3. Barcelona are in 3rd place with 2 points, and Cobresal are 4th and last on 1 point. In Group C, Huachipato and Estudiantes have 4 points, but Huachipato lead the group on goal difference. The strongest are in 3rd place on 3 points, and Gremio prop up the group with 0 points. In Group D, Junior and Universitario are tied atop the group on 4 points, Junior leading on goal difference. Liga de Quito have 3 points, Botafogo have 0 points. In Group E, Bolivar lead the group on 6 points, from Flamengo who have 4, Millonarios with 1, and Palestino bringing up the rear with 0 points. In Group F, Palmeiras and Independiente del Valle have 4 points, but Palmeiras lead the group on goals scored. Liverpool and San Lorenzo have 1 point, and Liverpool are in 3rd place on goals scored. In Group G, Atlético Mineiro have won 2 from 2 and lead the table on 6 points. Peñarol and Rosario Central have 3 points, but Peñarol are in 2nd place on goal difference. Caracas have lost both matches and occupy last place without any points. In Group H, River Plate, with 2 wins from 2 matches, lead with 6 points. Nacional have 3 points, but second on goal difference from Libertad, and Deportivo Táchira have 0 points. You can find XG maps and flowcharts for every Libertadores match on Soccermetrics' X feed, match data supplied by Data Factory Latin America. If you want to follow me and send a comment or question, my X handle is @Soccermetrics. You can also send questions or comments to @SoccerDownHere or Jason Longshore at @Longshoe. We will answer your questions about the tournament in a future episode, and we do appreciate your comments as we strive to make this show better. The 3rd match day of the Copa Libertadores group stage will happen in 2 weeks. So next week, we will have a single episode on Wednesday to report news from the competition and present the first of a series of historical vignettes about the competition, starting with the Intercontinental Cup. This has been the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show, a production of Soccermetrics and Soccer Down Here. See you later. Hasta luego e até mais.